A Democrat.
Do you consider yourself to be a strong Democrat or not a very strong Democrat?
Strong Democrat.
This November, there will be a general election in Indiana for the U.S. Senate, Congress, and other office. How likely would you say that you are to vote in this election? Will you definitely vote? Probably vote? Or the chances are 50-50? Will you probably not vote? Will you definitely vote?
I will definitely vote.
Please rate your level of motivation to vote in the November election on a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 means you are not at all motivated to vote.
11.
10 means you're.
I'm kidding. 11. 10.
Which best describes how you plan to vote? I will vote.
I will be voting early. I'll vote early.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Now, would you say things in the nation today are generally headed in the right direction, or would you say they're going in the wrong track?
Are you going to use this answer against Joe Biden? Because that's what they do on the news. I believe
No,
the
ma'am.
country is going in the wrong track, but I do not blame Joe Biden for that.
Yes, ma'am. If the election for the U.S. Congress was held today, would you vote Republican or Democrat?
Democrat.
I'm going to read you a list of public figures, and I'd like you to tell me whether you have favorable or unfavorable opinion of each person using a scale that runs from 0 to 10. 0 on the scale means that you have a very low or very unfavorable opinion. 10 means that you have a very high or favorable opinion of the person. Frank Mervan.
That name is not very familiar to me.
Okay. Todd.
Is there a neutral number? Can I say 5?
Yes, ma'am. Todd Young.
1. Was that the low? What was that on the negative side?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 1. Can you tell me the party affiliation of the first person?
It doesn't have it on there.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're okay. Tom McDermott.
McDermott. 8.
Joe Biden.
I'd give them an 8.
Donald Trump.
Well, there's no negative score, so I'll have to give him a 1.
Jennifer Ruth Green.
Jennifer who?
Ruth Green.
Oh, that sounds familiar, but nothing's really coming to me.
Yes, ma'am. If the general election for the U.S. Senate was held today, and the candidates were Todd Young, he's a Republican, Jay Senate, the Libertarian, or Tom McDermott, the Democrat, who would you vote for?
Tom McDermott.
And what if the general election of the U.S. Congress was held today? Jennifer Ruth Green is the Republican. Frank Marvin is the Democrat.
Frank Marvin.
Do you strongly approve, somewhat disapprove, or strongly disapprove of the job Frank Marvin is doing as a member of Congress?
Since I don't know really much about him, but he's a Democrat, I'm going to go on the higher of the median 5, and I'll say 6, because I don't know.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Do you strongly approve, somewhat disapprove, or strongly disapprove of the job Todd Young is doing in the U.S. Senate?
Strongly disapprove.
Do you strongly approve, somewhat disapprove of the job Eric Holcomb is going to do as governor?
Strongly disapprove.
Do you strongly approve, somewhat disapprove, or strongly disapprove of the job Joe Biden is doing as president?
What was under strongly approve? Was that just approve?
Somewhat approve.
Somewhat approve. Yeah, somewhat approve.
And do you strongly approve, somewhat disapprove, or strongly disapprove of the job Donald Trump when he was president?
Strongly disapprove.
What would you say is the single most important issue that you would like to see your representative in Congress and do something about?
Wow. It's like equally abortion, reproductive health, and e- and I mean democracy. The overarching thing would be our democracy,
Yes, ma'am.
and everything else would fall underneath that. You know, voting, reproductive rights, everything would fall underneath the umbrella of democracy for me.
All right. And now I'm going to read you some descriptions, and I'd like to know how well you think of each one. Frank Marvin is the first one. Does that describe him very well, somewhat well, or not well? Is an astounding advocate for veterans.
Oh, very well.
Make sure Indiana gets its fair share of tax money brought home.
Very well.
Just does whatever Nancy Pelosi wants.
No. I'm not sure what my choices are with that one, but that's not how she works.
Yes, ma'am. Stands up for the local steel industry.